Hey everyone, I'm Grant and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be working on completing the modifications necessary to move the crossmember that I had fabricated for the original driveline for my new driveline that I'm putting in my diesel swapped TJ Wrangler. Now, the other day Jacob was over here and he helped me with a lot of just the troubleshooting and trying to figure out how we were going to do it and how we were going to position the mount where the bar needed to be, and we went ahead and cut the bar so we could just go ahead and kind of figure out the best place to mount this new cross member. And huge shout out to Jacob, thank you so much. That was a ton of help, just having another pair of eyes to make sure my measurements and everything were correct. But now I have the time to actually complete it. So let me show you what the idea is. 2 seconds. So here are the pieces of the original cross member that we've already cut up. And I didn't want to try cutting this piece up because this already has the correct angle for where the frame rail comes in towards the front of the TJ. So what we decided to do was just cut them here. And the way we're going to fix this is we've gone ahead and marked it. And I'm going to double check these marks tonight. I'm going to cut off the difference, but let me put this down for a second. We then got this bar and we're going to slide it in like this. And then we're going to put the other piece on each side. I'm going to drill holes throughout it and do little butt welds. But because this bar will be solid, it will help strengthen and reinforce this outside bar. And it is a pretty close fit as well. So I think this is going to be strong enough, and that's what I'm going to be working on tonight. So I'm going to get to work. Had to call a little bit of an audible because when I had the cross member tilted back this way, it was actually hitting the transfer case right here, and that would have created a solid mount and a horrible vibration and a whole bunch of other issues. So I've actually rotated the mount around 180 degrees. I had to be careful because I was still worried about the mount interfering with the front drive shaft, but I have plenty of clearance. I had to pull out this bracket on the fuel line, so that now clears. That was another concern, but now, if I got all my measurements correct, which is yet to be seen, this should now fit. Should. Maybe. Push that in. Now I should be able to rotate this forward, and voila! That will work. I have plenty clearance here. I don't have to worry about the front drive shaft hitting. And overall, that actually looks really good. So now what I'm going to do is actually take this all out. I'm going to drill holes throughout everything. And then I'm going to come back underneath here, put it all back in, and start doing little plug welds. And I'm going to put a couple of welds on these 2 cuts. And once I'm sure that this bar is semi-solid, I'll unbolt it and then weld up the entire bar outside from underneath the Jeep. But I want to have a couple of weld spots just to make sure everything's aligned up. So, back to work. I have the bar back where I want it to be. All my marks are lining up, so I'm going to get to tack welding. And once I have enough welds on it where I feel like it's one piece, I'll pull it out and we'll weld it out from underneath of the Jeep. All right, I'm gonna let this cool down a bit because it is very hot, and then I'm gonna grind everything smooth so it looks better because, again, not a welder. All right, now that I have the cross member fully welded and cleaned up good enough for me, again, this isn't perfect, but I'm happy with it. I'm gonna take it outside, I'm gonna paint it, and once we have it painted, then we'll go and continue installing it. Now that the paint has dried on the cross member, I'm gonna be adding nut certs to hold everything in place. So I'm going to be adding 2 here and 2 on the back here. And the reason why I'm not doing these front 2 holes on both of the brackets is I realized I kind of made a mistake, and these are kind of pressed into the frame rail right now. So it's being held in place there. So if I tried putting a nut cert here and here, I wouldn't actually be able to get the bar back into place. So that was a little bit of a goof on my part, but just having the 2 nut certs on each side will be more than enough to hold this in place. Before I drill out these 2 holes bigger, I'm going to go ahead and put the cross member in. And I'm going to bolt it to the other frame rail to make sure these holes still line up. I kind of made that mistake with the holes I drilled here and here for the original cross member, and it became a struggle to get the fasteners in. I don't want to make that same mistake again. So I have the cross member in place, and I know I'm blocking the light, but the 2 holes I have drilled line up perfectly. So now I'm going to take the cross member back out and drill out these holes to the correct size and put 2 nut certs in them. Just realized that my battery died on my GoPro, so you didn't see me do this nut cert. But what I was also going to show you is I ran out of room and I was able to start the nut cert with my nut cert tool, which I absolutely love. But I finished it using this method. I'm going to use it real quick to see if this one needs to be tightened. And that one's actually already tight. But this is the other method you can use. Well, there's several methods. There's also a tool that you squeeze together, which I have around here somewhere, but I don't have enough room underneath of my Jeep to use that tool, so this comes in handy. So now that these 2 are installed, I'm going to move the GoPro. We're going to see if we can't install the cross member and put 4 fasteners in it. Now that I have everything bolted, I'm going to put a jack underneath so I can remove this, and let's see if it works. This is a major accomplishment because the drivetrain is being supported by the weight of the vehicle. The cross member is done. It's been modified, it's installed, and right now the drivetrain is completely installed and being supported by all the frame and everything that it should be in my Wrangler. This is huge. Anyway, we're making great progress. Now that the driveline's in, I can now install the shifter and the transfer case shifter, figure out the TCU for the Ford 6R80, and we are going to just keep on moving along till we get this project running again. But anyway, it's YouTube, you know what to do. Take out more than you bring, tread lightly, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.